Welcome to Showcase Yakima. Today we're going to be taking a look at a company that has been manufacturing here in the Yakima Valley, one of the oldest manufacturers. Now, if you've ever played in a school band, an orchestra, or a symphony, you know this product. And it's been made right here in the Yakima Valley since 1942. The company's been going since 1935. Today we're going to take you inside Manhasset Specialty Company.
Showcase Yakima, a partnership of KYVE 47 and the Greater Yakima Chamber of Commerce. Underwritten in part by Thorner, Kennedy & Gano, meeting the legal needs of the Yakima Valley since 1976. And by Argus Insurance, helping you today to secure your tomorrow. And by Yakima Valley Regional Medical and Cardiac Center, home of the 15-minute ER guarantee. And by Central Valley Bank, large enough to serve, small enough to care. And by Treetop, 50 years of growing good. And by Fitterer's Furniture, quality furniture since 1896.
All right, we welcome now Barry Hyde, General Manager of Manhasset Specialty Company. Welcome, Barry. Thanks for showing us today what has been going on in Yakima for a long time, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But why don't you work us through exactly, first of all, tell us what Manhasset Specialty Company is making right here.
Well, we make primarily music stands. We have other products, but it's all predominantly music related. We have accessories for the musicians, for bands, orchestras, music classrooms. That's our focus, and we've been doing it for a long time.
Okay, well, now work us through here now. We're kind of at the start of your production area here. And explain, I mean, we've got some huge machines around us and spools of metal and everything. Tell us, well, what is our first step of manufacturing music stands here at Manhasset?
Well, in this area, we're looking at toe stock that we use to make the bass. This machine here will uncoil it and actually straighten it. You can't have a bend in it or without causing some problems a little later on the process. As this material is actually, it's straightened so that the curve is out of it, goes into our toe forming machine, and the toes are formed at this machine.
So this is kind of our base product that we're using to make the bass. Now, so what's our next process?
Well, in addition to the toes, we actually have a center that will actually ultimately be welding these toes onto, and that becomes the base. After that, we move on up to the rest of the plant where we're actually making the desks, and we actually make the shaft all in-house. Everything is made in-house.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go take a look at the next step of the process.
Okay.
All right, Barry, now we're at our next stage of manufacturing here. Tell me a little bit about this. What do we got behind us? Now, are your machines dedicated just to do one thing?
No, actually, most of them will do several functions. This one is set to blank out the center. There'll be the center of the base.
Okay.
But it also is used for several other functions. The machine behind us is also used for other functions. It's used for a forming function for the centers, but is also used to make, as an example of what it's doing now, another leg for another one of our stands.
Okay. All right, so then we have the stand. We've kind of looked at the legs and the base stand. So let's go take a look at where you make the, I guess it's the, what holds the music.
There we go.
All right,
okay.
Let's go do that.
Okay.
All right, our next stage of manufacturing, now you got another metal here that you work with. And tell us a little bit about what this is and what you do with it.
Well, this is a special alloy of aluminum, and this is used to make the desk. We want the desk, the upper portion of the stand, to be light, so we use aluminum. And this aluminum has properties that allows us to have it, we can be comfortable that it's going to last and be durable for a lot of years. It is strong enough to hold its shape, and yet and not so rigid that you have to worry about cracking or things like that too. So it's a very good product. We've been using this particular metal for a number of years, and it's very...
So is there, I mean, other than so specifically, do you use aluminum because of the weight then? Because I noticed like in the other section you made, and that was steel, right? To make the base.
The base was steel. This is aluminum because it is lighter. It gives us that the stability that we want in our music stand. But it also has other properties. You actually, even if it were to be damaged or somebody would abuse it, you actually can bend this back. You couldn't do necessarily that with the base. So there's some other advantages that we have. And these are all time proven. We've been doing this for a lot of years, and be able to, through those years, hone in on exactly what might be the best product, and so we're pretty confident that we've got that.
Right. And now, your main guy on the aluminum, then, the thing is Eric. Why don't we go talk to Eric, and we'll have him kind of walk us through the process of what we do with to make the top of the stand.
Okay, and what he's going to do, he will show not only our process in making the actual desk, but where we go from there, because we have to go through several other processes even before we put the surface coating on.
All right, well, let's go visit Eric.
Okay.
Hey, we welcome Eric Wagner now. Eric, nice to meet you. And thanks for showing us what you do here at Manhasset. So what do we got here? We got a big press, and it's pressing things.
Yes, this is our large desk press that we do stamp the product with. As you can see, we have a coil of aluminum which is fed through the straightener into the press. It's a two-part stamping process where, as it rolls in, the first will stamp the name Manhasset and the 4 rivet holes. The second action of this press is what puts the ribs in to give the desk its stability, and does this all in one two-press action.
Well, and that's, I mean, for musicians, that's the Manhasset, because that's the part that we all know. We all seen in kids in bands forever, and
I remember this name when I was in 4th grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we got this. Now we got to stop the top. You're going to take us through the next process of what you do with this next.
Yes.
All right, well, let's go over to that section, Eric.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, Eric, show us what's your next process. What are you doing here now with these?
This is our ledge bender, where we put an 86-degree bend in the bottom of the desk. And this is what gives you an area to put your sheet music on.
Okay, there it is. And then I see you got some other pieces here.
Yes, we do. We have a wing press back here, which takes these blanks. And we put them into this machine back here, and it puts a bend in for us to create our wings, which are for the back of the desk.
Right, and that's the part that you're going to connect to that'll build the stand, basically. So.
Yes, this is what will be riveted onto the back of the face of these desks, and give the stand stability to put the neck in, put it on the shaft of the music stand.
Okay, why don't you can show us some riveting then?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. So this is our desk riveter, which we have an aluminum desk here, and we have 2 aluminum wings which go onto the back of the stand. Now what we do is we have steel rivets that rivet this product together. From a side view.
Oh, that's quick.
Yeah, it puts the rivets through, curls the back. They're very strong, very durable, should never break. And as far as these wings on the back, that's what gives the product the neck to support it. It gives it the tilting, the turning, the swinging. And after the rivets are put on, they're ready to be washed. And I fill this basket full of 36 desks. From there, we have our shafts, which are in a basket over here, which we put into the basket. And then we put this through a cleaning process. Our cleaning process, we have 3 tanks here. The first one is an alkaline to get all of the oil, all of the dirt, all of the grease off of the product. That we then rinse that basket and we put it into a phosphate. A phosphate etches the material and gives it a surface for the powder to stick to.
Okay.
After that, we rinse it one more time and we put it into a sealant, which will prevent the product from rusting and give it a nice area for the powder to also stick to. After that, we put it into a dry-off oven and send it on through to the powder coaters.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Eric. Thanks for explaining what you do here at Manhasset.
Yes.
And we're going to go back over and join Barry here, and we'll watch you get in a bath.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Where I see in the plant you've got some big, I guess, washing.
Well, they are. They're. What we want to do is we want to make sure that the material is clean, get rid of any oils that are on there, and the oils are good for lubricating, keeping the material workable during these processes, but we don't want to have it on there when we're going to be putting on our powder coating finish. So we have a 3-stage cleaning process where actually we remove the oils with a simple detergent. We go to an iron phosphate material which actually microscopically etches the surface of the material to make it better able to hold on to the powder. It basically gives it something for the little powder, the powder particles, and we'll look at that a little later, to grab onto. So it gives a much more durable,
so you're kind of setting up the powder coat at this basic, so gives it that durability, or I mean the ability to hold on to the powder coating.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one we have, the tank right here, it also further enhances that by getting rid of the ability, getting rid of what would otherwise cause us to have a little bit of rusting problem on the metal or the steel parts. But it also cures the product a little bit more so that it makes it even more able to take the powder and hold on to it. What we want in the end result, and you'll see this as we go down the process, we want a finished product that the powder is on there and becomes part of the product, not just a coating that is applied to the surface of the product. Okay,
so then we've got it washed well, we've got it, I guess, prepped to be powder coated, so let's go take a look at some powder coating.
Okay.
All right, we'll do it right over here. Well, now, Barry, I see that you have a big, basically it looks like an oven. So tell us, what are you doing here? Are you cooking them before you send them out?
No, actually we're drying the parts. It's just kind of like water's an enemy when you're powder coating. You got to get rid of the water. We just washed through some moisture. We got to get rid of all the moisture. So we have this dry off oven that we got to get rid of all the moisture before we go to the next stage, and that would be putting it on a conveyor and getting ready to go into the powder coating booth.
And you're kind of reusing energy here. You're being green. So tell us how. I mean, where are you getting how are you drying these things?
Okay. Well, we are Manhasset is a very green company. We don't have any hazardous materials, and we try and be as efficient in the use of energy as we can. As an example, this dry off oven is basically taking exhaust air from our oven, our other oven, our curing oven. It brings it down here, and it's the exhaust that still has heat in it that is drying these parts. Then once the air goes through there, it goes back up to the same.
Well, that's a great idea. So this has no element. It's just using the heat from from another process.
It basically costs us nothing to heat this and dry the parts.
Okay. So now we've got them. I guess set for powder coating now after they're dried, right?
Right.
And so then they'll go to the powder coating area.
Right. Well, they're in the baskets as Eric's department put in. Now we've got to take them out of the baskets and put them on our conveyor. We have an overhead conveyor.
So it looks like we're getting a music stand made here now. We've got it to a certain point. Tell us what's happening here.
Well, Mauricio is taking the parts that have been dried now and putting them on our conveyor. This conveyor, again, it'll be holding the parts until they're completely done. And the next time they'll be touched, it'll be to put them in the containers in the final stages before they go in the container. We do, on our hangers, we have all the parts that we need to get powder coated. We have the part of the shaft that you can see the desk, and you can see the bases now that are completed. And
I was going to say, it looks like you have quite a few going through here at a time. Is there how many a day do you usually do?
Well, it depends. Our total count varies depending upon the music stands that we're doing. Some of them take more time, but we can do up to 1,500 a day without any problem at all. And if we are doing some unusual ones, the number may change a little bit from that.
So here we have our steel base, we have our aluminum music stand, and they're all ready. They've been processed, ready to be powder coated.
Right. They've all been treated, and they're ready to accept the powder. Next stage would be the powder coating.
Okay, let's go take a look at the guys powder coating them.
Okay.
All right, we've got it all prepped, Barry, now to be powder coated, and we're over here, and obviously that's what these guys are doing. So tell us about, now for a few years ago, you guys switched from paint to powder coating. Tell us, first of all, why did you do that?
Well, we actually produced a very good quality baked on enamel paint, and it was very good. But powder coating has come such a long way and is far superior of a finish. It becomes a surface that requires the material from then on, and it's again, so much better than paint. We made the switch, and we're so happy we did so. It is much more efficient and environmentally friendly to boot.
So you guys, they can basically come through on the conveyor that we saw, and they adhere it here. And you say, now tell me, because don't they have to be charged to make it adhere?
Right. What we have to do is have our conveying process grounded, and that becomes a negative. When the powder comes out of the gun, it is actually given a positive charge. That's what makes it stick to the work. And if you're, you can see, it'll actually, on this process, we have a gun application. We have one on the other side that is actually spraying the other side. Mike here on this side is spraying the side that we can see. But if you look at the corners, you can actually see where the powder wraps around. That adhesion is so great because it has that positive attraction, so that it really makes it a very, very strong and good finish for our particular product.
So the powder is actually it's a dust made of what?
Well, we use a polyester. That's the type of powder that works the best for us. It's also plastic, but it's basically the consistency of baby powder. But again, we give it a positive charge. It wants to stick to that, and it'll stay onto the work for the life of the product.
Okay, and so from here then you cook them.
Yeah, we do. We have to bring it in, once it goes through this powder coat station, it goes into our oven, and we have to cure it, bring it up to 400 degrees, and we have to cure it for 10 minutes at 400 degrees. And then it's basically done. Okay, our testing process, actually, where we bend the metal to the point where we want to see, is the material going to break or the spot weld fail. Actually, what we do, because of this spot weld, in addition to the spot welds which are here, we actually have the MIG welds, one on each corner of the toe as it's connected to the center, in addition. So what we feel very confident with is that we have a product that is going to last way longer than our warranty.
Okay, so Barry, essentially we're at the last section of the manufacture process here, and you've got the stands at the base, and I should say the base and the music stand will go on.
Right, this would be the bottom of the shaft.
Okay.
This is the upper portion of the shaft where the desk is connected. And this is powder coated now, so this is basically a finished product, and they'll be put into bags like this. One of the processes we are very careful about is none of our metal touches other metal in our box. And this is put in this particular sheet exactly for that purpose.
And then you have a process to make sure that every piece is in there when it goes to the consumer.
Yes, in fact, we'll walk over there, look at this. The desks are being assembled now. At the same time, these are, as you can see, they're being brought over, and the last assembly is being taken on them, and then they're put into the containers.
Okay, let's go take a look at that.
Okay.
All right, Barry, I see that we've got one more process before they get boxed here.
Right, we have to apply the neck. That's the connecting point for the shaft and the desk. And then it's tightened up, and you can see if you look at this machine, it actually puts on a specific torque on there. We don't want it so tight that they have a hard time moving, adjusting the position, but we don't want it so loose that it is unworkable either.
So it's perfectly set to do that.
Absolutely. Every single one of our desks has a specific torque that has been determined to be the best. That doesn't mean that somebody couldn't adjust it later on, but they come out of the factory with what we see as the ideal torque.
Okay, Barry, we've got everything put together. We've got all the pieces. It's all the quality that Manhasset's been doing for so many years. And before they go out to the consumer, tell us what we're seeing here.
Well, this is the last stage before it's boxed. We put in the warranty and we check the weight. We have a machine that'll tell us if we're missing a bolt. We don't want to be sending out.
It's that exact that it can tell you just from that weight that it's even missing one part.
Yeah, we don't want to send out any boxes that have something missing. That's just not good for us.
Well, now, as I mentioned earlier, Manhasset is one of those companies that if you're a musician or you've been in a school band or you've been in an orchestra or symphonies, any kind of really musician knows the Manhasset name. And so, Barry, let's talk a little bit about this company that you're the general manager. Tell us, how long has Manhasset been around?
Actually, it was formed in 1935 in Manhasset, New York. The then owner moved from there but kept the name, so we're known worldwide as Manhasset, obviously, because of that early route.
Now, what year did it come to Yakima?
1942.
Okay.
Yeah, it was during the war where it wasn't making a lot of music stands, obviously, but the company was still going on. After the war, kicked it back up into a higher production like it had been before the war, and we've been here ever since.
Yeah, well, and that's a long time, and so and that's one of the reasons we kind of want to talk to you today is because this is a name that is we're seriously named worldwide, that is famous in the music stand industry, and you guys have been doing it here for so long in Yakima. So over the years, what kind of innovations have you seen change? I mean, what's kind of you started obviously with a steel and metal then. Are you making them similarly today as you were then?
Well, the stand, our #1 stand, actually started in 1948, and that's been, for visual purposes, the same. Internally, we have some changes. We made some improvements as materials have changed. Obviously, powder coating is one, but internally, we also have some other things that have gone on that made them a little bit better than even they were back then, and they were always really great. We make other products in addition to the music stands. We make a variety of music stands for all kinds of musicians, for conductors, for drummers, for
home studios we were talking about, you know, a wall-mounted thing like that. Yeah, so you've got a lot of the different types of stands. And the company now, familiarize me with the name. It was Otto
Lagervall was the founder and the inventor of the original music stand and numbers of other music stand components that he was responsible for putting on the market.
And so at what year then? He was with the company for how long?
Well, he sold the company in 1959, but since its founding, obviously in 35 to 59, he was the owner and the man.
And so now you're manufacturing here in the Yakima Valley. You've been here for so long. Who owns the company now?
We're actually an ESOP, an employee stock ownership plan company.
Oh, okay.
So all of our employees are basically owners of the company. They get shares.
Well, see, and that's very cool.
Yeah, and it's good for us all. We have a pride and an interest in making sure the company is doing what it needs to do, making sure our products are the highest quality, and making sure that throughout the process, from the very beginning to the very end, things work the way we know they need to for us to have a good quality product recognized in the market.
And I'm sure you should look at the future. You're looking at other things that you can do to improve the product. And we're going to go take a look at some of the things that you do here right now.
Okay.
To introduce us to some of your other products?
Well, we have a couple music stands that are colored music stands in a variety of colors. We have our standard colors, which are the primary and secondary colors, as well as white and gray and pink. But we also make numbers of custom colors. People that want their own color, we're working with them. When we've sold those to universities and
you did a special color for the Boston Pops.
Boston Symphony. Actually, we did. They wanted their own beige. We made them the beige. We had to send chips back and forth to make sure that the color that we had was exactly what they wanted. And so now, if you see the Boston Symphony on television, you'll see the music stand, the custom music stand.
That was made right here in Yakima.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's very cool. And some clients like Disney is another one that you
Disney, they wanted a gold, and they wanted a specific gold, so we made them the gold. We do this for all over. There's universities throughout the world. It used to be the music stands were black. That, if my observation is anywhere close to correct, that's changing. People are starting
you're in showbiz.
Yeah, you got it,
Yeah, so, and that's got to be exciting to watch television or see something or go to a place like Disneyland and see a product that is made by folks right here in the Yakima Valley.
It is, and I'll tell you what, all of our people here, when they're watching something, they'll pick out a music stand. They know if it's ours or if it's somebody else's. We know our product, we're looking for it, and there's that pride of ownership even after it leaves the factory.
Well, and that was the exciting part about being able to come down and talk and learn your process today, Barry, is to see that pride and the fact that you guys have been here for so long and you're making a quality product. Once again, really the worldwide leader for the quality of product that you're making, and it's all being done right here. And we thank you so much, Barry, for talking to us today.
Absolutely.
Showcase Yakima, a partnership of KYVE 47 and the Greater Yakima Chamber of Commerce. Underwritten in part by Thane Kennedy and Gano, meeting the legal needs of the Yakima Valley since 1976. And by Argus Insurance, helping you today to secure your tomorrow. And by Yakima Valley Regional Medical and Cardiac Center, home of the 15-minute ER guarantee. And by Central Valley Bank, large enough to serve, small enough to care. And by Treetop, 50 years of growing good. And by Fitterer's Furniture, quality furniture since 1896.